Welcome to Total Spectrum Spotlight, an informative look and an insightful discussion of today's legislative issues and political trends.
Hi, I'm Erik Paulsen, and welcome to Total Spectrum Spotlight. Today we get to have a little conversation with Congressman Kevin Brady from the state of Texas. He has been the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, now the ranking member, very involved in tax policy, healthcare policy, trade policy. So, Kevin, thanks for joining us today.
Good to see you, Erik. Thanks for having me.
Well, first we should just start off by having a little conversation about the end of the year, right? We've had the elections behind us after the midterms. It seems like always around Thanksgiving time, we've had the parameters set for what a tax bill might look like in a lame duck session. What's going to happen this year?
Yeah, so lame ducks, you can get work done in the lame duck session, and but there's a little more uncertainty in years where a majority changes. So, we've got about 2 more weeks, and what we're hopeful is that we can reach a bipartisan agreement on temporary tax extenders, 3 of them from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. While they're very modest in price, are really pro-growth policies like making sure businesses can write off all of their equipment purchases, right, making sure companies can write off all their research and development, investments.
And some of these have bipartisan support.
Yeah,
right.
All 3 of them actually do. And so we're hopeful we can find agreement there. Still some work to do. We've got some trade provisions that have expired. 2 of them I think are really important. One helps developing countries, sort of trade, not aid, so lift themselves up by selling their products into America, more affordably. We think that's important. Another that's really key to small and mid-sized manufacturers, where we take off duties from the inputs and the ingredients that they can't get here in the U.S. It allows our companies to compete and win both here at home and around the world. Then there's some healthcare provisions, many of them dealing with rural and underserved hospitals, telehealth, which is something you had focused on, mental health issues, which are really urgent, and some proposed reimbursement cuts to doctors, clinical labs, home health, issues like that. So we've got work to do. There's not much time to do it. Right. I'm hopeful we can get it done.
In retirement security, there are some provisions
as
well,
yeah,
right?
I'm very excited. Secure 2.0 is the follow-on to the Secure Act. That was the first major reform of retirement in 15 years. And this one, again, very bipartisan, but it really focuses on the savers gap, the millions of Americans who won't save a dime through their life. We know who they are. They have very modest incomes. They work for very small businesses. So you'll see here, Secure 2.0, a real effort to help bring more small businesses into savings and retirement plans, more workers of modest income starting to save for the first time in their life.
Sure, good. Well, we wish you luck in the final few weeks.
Yeah, thank you.
In that prospect. One issue that you worked on successfully just a couple of years ago was the issue of surprise medical billing. Yeah. And this is something that impacted folks as a surprise when they had scheduled appointments or emergency visits and they had huge hospital bills. Yeah. And it's not quite – the solution was put forward, but the administration, I understand, is maybe not following the letter of the law, right? It's still an issue.
Yeah, this is really important because, as you know, you go to an emergency room visit, you have a scheduled medical procedure, and then you get hit a month later with thousands of dollars because people were out of network and you didn't know that. It's wrong. And so Congress acted in a bipartisan way to end surprise medical billing, and that took place here, became the law of the land here recently, which is great news for patients. The problem is the Biden administration really hasn't implemented it the way Congress wrote it, and as a result, some of the key provisions have been delayed in how we mediate these things. The good news is patients are out of that mix now. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They're no longer handed that surprise medical bill, but there's still work left to do. The administration, the good news is Chairman Richie Neal, who leads the Ways and Means Committee, and I are really pressing the administration to get it right and get it done soon, because we think it's really important overall that they implemented the bill the way Congress wrote it.
Good. We're at the 5-year anniversary of TCJA, right? Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Yeah. I remember that so well, obviously, as we moved important generational tax reform forward. We saw investment increase, economic growth, paychecks boosted, small business optimism accelerate. What has to happen now, though, with some of the provisions set to expire in not too distant future?
Yeah, one, thanks for your leadership on tax reform. We wouldn't have gotten it done without you. Secondly, it changed the trajectory of the U.S. economy. We leapfrogged the most competitive economy in the world almost immediately. We saw, trillions of dollars come back to be reinvested in the U.S. Manufacturing jobs surged, created about 500,000 because America was the place to invest and build in. You know what I mean? And add those jobs in. But what I'm proud of is in 2019, was really kind of that first full year after tax reform, but pre-COVID. So we saw important things. Household income surged. They grew more in 1 year than in all 8 years combined ahead of that. We saw the lowest poverty rate in half a century. We lifted 6 million people out of poverty. And then income inequality began to shrink, first time in half a century. So really important goals for society, and I think really important goals for Democrats and Republicans. So it's important that some of the provisions that are starting to expire this year, and then the small business and family tax cuts expire in 2025. So it's really important to begin now to lock in those lower rates, especially with inflation so high. Families need every dollar that they earn, frankly, to make through these tough times. But I think it's important, too, that Main Street businesses understand the small business deduction and the new low tax rates for them are locked in. There's certainty for them going forward. So that's going to be a major focus of the new Republican majority.
So you talk about the importance of planning now for that. What will the Republican plan be as we have a new House majority working in a divided government going forward?
Yeah, so it's important. The House majority, frankly, will be an immediate check and balance on the more extreme legislative agendas. That's important. The power of the purse will be shared between Republicans and Democrats. So issues like executive overreach or regulations that are driving inflation will be a major focus. And then, bringing our ideas forward. And so House Republicans have what is called a commitment to America. And its 4 pillars are a nation that's safe because our crime is rampant, the border is not secure, an economy that's strong because ours is not, a future built on freedom for Americans, and then a government that's held accountable because really Americans have been in the dark the last couple of years about how their government's working. But the economy here, the short answer is tackling inflation for Republicans means less government spending, less taxes, and less regulation that fuel inflation, and more of a focus on American-made energy, reconnecting workers to their jobs, and more innovation and more investment in the supply chain, all to drive inflation prices down. So you're going to see that really at the heart, as well as really, moving away from China on those key medicines, ingredients, medical supplies, issues you worked on, by the way. That will be a focus as well.
Well, lots to do, but unfortunately we know that you are departing Congress after serving so many years here, putting forth such a positive growth agenda for our small business community in particular. I can't thank you enough for your leadership because the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act would not have happened were it not for your leadership. But what's the next chapter for Kevin Brady?
Yeah, so I don't know yet. I'm going to run through the tape. January 3rd is my last day working. We still, as I told you, we got work to do. But after that, look, I love my job. I'm very optimistic about Congress and the people that we have worked with up here and about the future. But excited about a new adventure. Don't know what that will be. Hopefully it's in the economic space.
I know it will be.
You and I have worked on 4 years and that we love. And we're just going to be open to that. We'll be back in Texas. Kathy and I, the boys, are back in the Woodlands and all. But we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, well, we look forward to seeing your future continued impact across the board. And thanks for joining us, all of our viewers. We appreciate you watching us. And Kevin, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on Total Spectrum Spotlight.
Thanks, Erik.
Thank you for watching Total Spectrum Spotlight. For more information about Total Spectrum, please visit us at totalspectrumsga.com. Total Spectrum, strategies uniquely focused on your success.